Now to a U.S. soccer player who became a World Cup sensation, and sensation is the word. Folarin Balogun was the first American men's player to score multiple goals in a World Cup match since 1930. You go, Mr. Balogun. He also made headlines after he received a red card, boo hiss, in a game versus Bosnia and Herzegovina, which meant an automatic one-game suspension. We did not approve. But that suspension was put on hold, we all know this, after President Trump spoke to the head of FIFA asking him to review the controversial call. We're happy to say that Folarin Balogun joins us live and in color in the studio. It's so great to meet you in person. We've been buzzing about you all morning.
Thank you, guys. I'm very happy to be here.
So you made your debut, your World Cup debut on the national stage. I'm wondering how you're processing it all now that it's over and all the controversy. We'll get to that in a second. I'm just wondering how you're processing all of this.
It's been nice to step out of the environment. You know, it was very tough. You know, high pressure.
Yes.
But, you know, it's good to be back home. And then I came, you know, I flew into New York 2 days ago. You know, I'm just enjoying kind of just being here again.
Okay, let's go to the red card suspension. Vlad,
yeah.
Let's go.
No, so let's talk about that red card suspension. It received a lot of attention. A lot of fans thought it was not deserved. What was your, I mean, I saw your reaction on
fans that had eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Your reaction on the field was one of devastation. But what was going through your mind?
You know, I was in shock. You know, it wasn't even a tackle, you know. So
right.
I was totally in shock. I think you could see in my reaction. But yeah, you know, I just had to accept the decision and, you know, just try and be there for my team. But, you know, as I said, I was definitely in shock.
And you knew that it wasn't justified. You felt it wasn't justified.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, you know, when something's not intentional, you know, it should never be a red card. So it was just an unfortunate situation. And I think, you know, it put a lot more pressure on us than we needed.
And once the president got involved and made the call and then it was reversed, were you thinking, yay, this is good? Or were you thinking, I don't know if this is such a good thing for the team or for myself at this particular time? Because then that turned into a whole nother layer of controversy.
My initial reaction was, you know, I was happy to be back in the team.
Yes.
But when I kind of started to reflect, I knew it was going to cause a lot of controversy. And I could almost see within my teammates a bit of nerves because it's something that's so unique. But the closer we got to the game, I tried to just focus as best as I could.
Yeah.
But it was difficult, you know, a lot of outside noise, and that's hard to avoid.
Yeah.
We saw the U.S. men's national team do relatively well this year in the World Cup. How do you think that reflects on American soccer? We're seeing the growth of the popularity of the sport nationwide. World Cup doing, you know, great business here in the U.S. How did that feel?
It was amazing to be a part of it. I really felt we was able to unite the country. That was an aspiration of mine and the team before we set out, and I definitely felt that. I think you could see how many fans and how many young kids really you know, were captured by it. And as I said, that's a very special feeling to be a part of that.
Let's go back to the whole red card thing, because we were so relieved once you got back in. But I'm wondering what the team was saying behind closed doors, because you're thinking they had been practicing knowing that you wouldn't be on the team, and then the day before you're on. What are you guys saying to yourselves in the locker room at that time? Because it seemed disorienting for us on the outside watching it.
Yeah, my teammates are like my brothers, you know. So they gave me a lot of reassurance. It wasn't something I could do, you know. It wasn't something I can change. It was just a situation that was unfortunate, which gave me confidence. But as you said, it was confusing because the team's practicing without me, you know, being in the team. I'm almost just playing a supporting role to try and keep the morale high. And then I think it was a day or 2 days before kickoff, I get told I'm back in the team, and we found out on the team bus. Everybody was like screaming and shouting. It was a pretty intense bus ride to the practice field, and then. Were
you able to focus that day on game day? I know they say athletes always compartmentalize, but were you guys able to focus on the game?
Given the expectations, right? The expectations, all of a sudden, when we realize that you're going to be playing, and you see the controversy, which is happening across the media, across football. What is the team locker room mentality like as you step out into that field, knowing that now they're like, okay, Folarin is playing again? What goes through all the teams? What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, it's more just being able to separate, the emotion from the job at hand. We're all professionals, so it's not something I think was too difficult to be able to separate once we kind of got over the initial announcement that I'd be back in the team. And yeah, I think you saw definitely it was a difficult game against Belgium, and that can kind of overshadow whether we was focused or not. But from me being inside the camp and inside the setup, I know we had full concentration going into the game.
Will we see you back in 4 years?
For sure.
Team USA?
For sure.
That's good news.
Love
to hear it.
With Team USA?
For sure.
We're cheering you on.
Always.
Yes, we are.
Congratulations.
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 Thank you, guys.
Folarin Balogun, thank you very much.